Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Soul Calibur video. Now, the release of Soul Calibur 6, an installment that softly does reboot the entire series, I thought it'd be a great way of actually dialing it back a little bit and looking at the other reboot in the series, that being Soul Calibur 5, and what ultimately led to its demise. As let's face it, already right out the gate, fans are enjoying Soul Calibur 6 far more than they enjoyed Soul Calibur 5, and ultimately why was Soul Calibur 5 seen as such an underwhelming installment in the series? Well, first off, let's talk about the most obvious thing, it being a sequel slash reboot. Basically, right out of the gate, Soul Calibur 5 wanted to re-establish its franchise and characters, but it had done it in such a way that it took a lot of personality out of the roster. You see, a roster is the foundation of a fighting game, especially for more of a casual perspective. Fans who don't care about tournaments and only simply wish to play the game would just look at the roster to ultimately determine their judgment of whether or not they do like it. But in this case, it's rather special. Instead of outright taking away particular characters for the next installment, they instead replaced OG fan favorites of the series with this new generation of fighters. Now, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it was such a forced and unnecessary change that fans couldn't adjust to them. Now, that's not to say that a lot of the new characters were outright terrible. Some of them had some very interesting designs. However, like I said, they are technically replacing other characters on the rosters who have an asserted fan base and who are seen by many as pioneers of the series. So by removing characters like Taki, Shanghua, and even rendering Kilik to a random character slot, understandably people weren't going to be too happy about that. So even from the foundation up, Soul Calibur 5 was made on rather shaky grounds. Many understandably felt like this soft reboot was one that didn't really need to exist. There was no reason to have the OG characters of the series be replaced by newcomers, so understandably many did feel robbed of their favorite characters. Now, this isn't exactly the nail in the coffin for Soul Calibur 5, because although a particular character wasn't in it, their moves may have been carried on, and you do have the rest of the game to enjoy. But is the rest of the game good? Well, let's talk about one of the big aspects they did add to the game, as it was starting to become a trend, adding a story mode to Soul Calibur. As you see before this, Soul Calibur didn't have a linear story, but allowed the player to follow the main plot line of the game, because for the most part in previous installments, they allowed the player to choose their own choices and how they forged their own story. And as NetherRealm Studios was highly praised for their Mortal Kombat reboot storyline, I believe that Soul Calibur 5 tried to follow a very similar trend. However, they did try to put their own unique and different take on it. Unlike NetherRealm Studios' style of telling stories through cutscenes, they'd instead rely on storyboards in order to tell what was going on. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, as it does look quite nice in Soul Calibur 6, but when we compare it to Soul Calibur 5, you can see how lackluster it is in comparison. A lot of the artwork looks unfinished, there's not really any character in the voice work, and the story felt very much so cliche and flat. And to top all of this off, the two main characters which the story revolve around, Pyrrha and Patroclus, weren't exactly interesting or likable. Patroclus is brash and arrogant, and Pyrrha is sensitive and whiny. Of course, as the story does progress, their personalities naturally change over the course of time, but in my own personal opinion, I don't think it's enough to make me like the characters. Now, it's not all downs, as the cutscenes that we did get did look really good, and we were able to understand what exactly goes on with Soul Calibur and Elysium that lies within it, but there are most certainly more cons than there are pros for the story mode. It was very short, it fell flat, characters were unlikable, the voice acting felt like it was really poor, and it just felt like the overall package could have been something much more. Now, I do understand some of this can be applied to Soul Calibur 6, however, the one thing that Soul Calibur 6 most definitely has an edge over 5 with are the Soul Chronicle chapters. You see, in Soul Calibur 5 you simply had the main story mode, and that was it. Despite the arsenal of new characters they had in their hands, anyone outside of Pyrrha and Patroclus weren't explored at all, and thus they were left underdeveloped. So from what you can tell in Soul Calibur 5, character investment and development were at an all-time low. In Soul Calibur 6, this was changed, as each different character had their own chapter in the Soul Chronicles. This in turn allowed you to understand what exactly was going on with each different character in the game at the time the main story was taking place. Now, although it may be lackluster because of the storyboards, you can't deny the amount of content and love they've actually given to each different character here, something which again I say felt lackluster in Soul Calibur 5. Now let's talk about the meat of the fighting game. Although the roster and story of the game were lackluster, how was the gameplay? As that is the core aspect of what could make a game appealing. Well, in all honesty, it's a very mixed bag. Some people enjoyed it, some people didn't, and both arguments do make sense. You see, in Soul Calibur 5 V, they started to add a meter system to the game, something that did make it very different to the other installments in the series. However, to some it was seen as a detriment, whereas others it could be seen as an improvement and evolution in the series. Now both sides are right in that aspect, as supers were and always have been really nice additions to fighting games, but the utilage of how you could use particular moves with bars of meter in such ways that it benefited particular characters way more than others is ultimately what determined how people felt about the game. So the meter system was definitely something that split a lot of people in the community down the middle. But one thing that everyone could agree on with Soul Calibur V, especially in comparison to its other installments, is that the movement and feel of the game generally felt very sluggish. It felt nowhere near as smooth and fast as Soul Calibur 2 or 3. It felt slow in comparison and in a way stoic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but strictly just from a viewing standpoint, there wasn't a lot of visual flair that could really entice the viewer, and thus because of this, interest in the game declined very quickly. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. Now, how do you personally feel about Soul Calibur V? It came out quite a long time ago, and I see people either love it or they hate it. Which side do you fall on, and most importantly, why do you feel that way? Because for all of Soul Calibur V's faults, I believe that there is some good and interesting stuff going on with there, but due to time and execution problems, it's hard to deny that we didn't get a half-assed product. But in a way, I kind of like it for all its faults, because if we didn't have all of these problems and issues with the game, then we wouldn't see these ideas be expanded and changed on in Soul Calibur 6, a product that's superior to 5 in every way. So yeah, down in the comments below, please do let me know. Anyway, yes, this more or less does wrap up the video. I just want to quickly let you all know that tomorrow I will be doing an unboxing video. I'm currently expecting to get one of the exclusive Hori Soul Calibur 6 fight sticks in the mail, so I'll be doing a review on that and showing off how beautiful the Xbox exclusive fight stick is, because I've been seeing a lot of people review the PlayStation one, and I think the Xbox One definitely looks better. So if you are interested, please do keep an eye out for that. Anyway guys, before this video wraps up, if possible, let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. So by giving it a thumbs up, it helps out a ton. Also, another big heads up, YouTube is having a lot of problems with my videos appearing in your sub boxes now. So to help me and to help you, please do tick that notification bell. It will let you know when I've uploaded so you can watch my content. But yeah, that's it for now. Anyway guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.